Did you really offer Tony Yayo millions of dollars to not do Vlad TV interviews?
I didn't want him to do it. He always says some stuff I wouldn't say. Like, and I don't know why he's done it. It's not enough involved in it for him to have to say that.
50 got stabbed that day, right? He didn't get stabbed.
Flash.
Jewish is not a race, but we've made it a race because we could
It kind of is.
When you be Ashkenazi, would you be considered Ashkenazi?
I'm an Ashkenazi Jew, and I'm an Ashkenazi Jew, and I'm on like United in first class, and 50 Cent walks in. I'm like, oh shit, we haven't seen each other in like 10 years. You know, like in the last interview with Yayo, I was like, oh, 50 Cent hates you. We're not gonna do interviews anymore until you know 50 Cent gonna pay me millions.
Stop messing with Vlad. He's wired up. That's not industry chatter. That's 50 Cent firing off a serious warning to every rapper moving around out here. After reports that DJ Vlad tried lining up comedian Godfrey, 50 didn't brush it off. He went public with receipts, dropping proof, and exposing Vlad's questionable connections.
And I guess you and your friend stole something from a store and you tried running from the police?
Yeah, that was the first time, bro. Damn, how the f*** know this shit? What the God damn.
I'm the feds, man. I'm the feds. I know everything.
Yeah, bro.
Behind those interviews, behind that platform, 50 swears there's a straight link to the feds. In his words, Vlad isn't just another media personality. He's plugged into bigger players, the ones pulling strings from the shadows while never getting their hands dirty. And according to 50, rappers walking into those interviews aren't just giving stories. They're handing over evidence on themselves. The rumors have floated for years, but now one of hip-hop's sharpest voices is confirming the suspicion everybody feared. DJ Vlad built his entire empire acting like he was a voice of the culture.
And he is right there, sitting there, taking photos with Vlad. He damn near have the same shorts on.
Lord Jamar. It's been 5 years. Yeah, it's been a minute.
I feel sorry for him because there was
Yeah, you gotta sell something.
But the like a soul.
Yeah, you gotta sell. You gotta.
Like, how much does a soul cost?
Sitting down with rappers, street figures, and industry legends as if he was archiving hip-hop history. But behind the bright lights, whispers say he's been tight with federal agencies for years, flipping his platform into a polished setup to get black artists trapped. Those interviews weren't really about stories. They were about surveillance. And it's not just rappers who've been targeted. Insiders claim Vlad even tried to line up comedian Godfrey, and when that move fell flat, he circled back by using voices like Ari Spears and Lord Jamar to drag his name on camera. He thought he could shape the narrative, spin the heat, and keep hiding behind the mask. But the cracks are finally showing, and 50 Cent is ripping the cover off, exposing the shadow games Vlad's been running. 50 is making it crystal clear. Stay off Vlad TV. Because in his eyes, Ukrainian-born Vladislav Lyubovny, better known as DJ Vlad, ain't no real DJ, and he damn sure isn't a journalist. Here's a plant. 50 even jokes that most people don't really clock who Vlad is, or even what he looks like, until it's already too late. To him, the name alone should have been a warning sign. To 50, Vlad isn't just some interviewer.
Did you really offer Tony Yayo millions of dollars to not do Vlad TV interviews?
I didn't want him to do it. He always says some stuff I wouldn't say. Like, and I don't know why he's done it. It's not enough involved in it for him to have to say that. Mm-hmm.
You be calling him after like, yo, why did you?
I don't know why you're talking about. What is wrong with you? You have to stop it, bro. You have to find other things.
Here's an industry plant wired into something way bigger than hip-hop. Not just tied to government hands, but plugged into the hidden forces pulling strings from the shadows. Sound like a conspiracy? Maybe. But 50 says he's got the receipts, and the picture he paints is dark. He even claims Vlad offered Tony Yayo millions just to keep him from ever doing a sit-down. And 50 didn't just drop warnings. He went right at Vlad's neck. He made him delete a video that went too far, an interview with Cal Dawson about the infamous night back in 2000 when 50 got shot 9 times. Vlad slapped a clickbait headline on it. Cal Dawson was in the car when 50 Cent got shot 9 times. Cal got shot also. Part 3. To 50, that wasn't reporting. It was pure exploitation. When 50 saw what Vlad pulled, he wasted no time. He blasted it straight to Instagram.
This is coming off the heels of Farrakhan's 4th of July speech, where he said, those of you that say you're Jews, I will not give you the honor of calling you a Jew. You're not a Jew. You're so-called. You're Satan. And it's my job now to pull the cover off of Satan. And he went on to say, like, every Muslim, when they see a
a fake Jew grab a rock.
And this is kind of what I feel is the energy.
Posted a screenshot of the video, stamped it with giant fraudulent, and demanded, "I want this video taken down now." Whatever Vlad's plan was, even he seemed to know he went too far. The clip vanished almost instantly.
Of you that say that you are Jews, I will not even give you the honor of calling you a Jew. You're not a Jew. You're so-called. When you know who Satan is, you don't have to kill him, no. The stone of truth. See, that's what you throw. We cast truth at falsehood till we knock out its brains. Every one of you that knows the truth, stand up and tell it from the mountaintop. Black people can't take it no more, so wherever you are on the job, in the factory, I don't care where you are. If you know the truth, stand up on the truth.
But that takedown, that was only the opening move. Because the deeper you peel it back, the uglier it looks. This isn't just a case of clickbait. It stretches back years. The Godfrey situation only exposed what many already believed. Vlad's whole playbook has always been built on shady tactics. And if you rewind the clock to 2020, the red flags were already flying. That year, Vlad sat down with D.L. Hughley and decided to aim smoke at Minister Louis Farrakhan. But he didn't just cover the story. He twisted it, accusing Farrakhan of calling all Jewish people Satan and urging violence against them. That wasn't what was said at all. The truth? Farrakhan was speaking in metaphor, urging followers to pick up the stone of truth against those pretending to be the chosen people. Vlad's distortion flipped the metaphor into a firestorm, igniting outrage and controversy. Once again, the mask slipped, exposing just how dangerous his so-called platform could really be. Heavyweights in the culture wasted no time checking Vlad for spreading lies.
Me, Lord Jamar, my son, the General, and Royce the 5'9" from Eminem's camp, we've all decided to join forces and just stop doing Vlad TV. If you guys don't know Vlad TV, it's on YouTube. It's an interview show, pretty much an urban interview show, because most of the people he's interviewed for the past 10 years have been all black people. Not too long ago, he made some statements about Minister Farrakhan which weren't true and were not fair, even if you don't like him. And as a Jewish man, he feels that Farrakhan insults his people. Fine. You can feel the way you want to feel, but lying on people does not work. That's not cool. I don't care who it was. It could have been Maxine Waters. It could have been Al Sharpton's corny. But you lie on somebody and then you get the truth told to you and you end up being looking. You should apologize. Issue an apology. Even big companies that black people all the time issue apologies so they can get that money. You know, we need to stand on code, protect our culture, just like Vlad decided not to apologize. He wants to protect his culture, okay? So we stood on ours. So we are not going to, we unsubscribe to Vlad. You all should unsubscribe to Vlad. If you're African American, you have.
The backlash hit fast, and it wasn't random fans or small names calling him out. It was respected voices with real weight. Nobody was buying the excuse that it was just a mistake or a slip of the tongue. To them, it felt intentional, calculated, and way too convenient. And leading that charge was Godfrey himself. He flat out said Vlad didn't misquote Farrakhan by accident.
You know, you can't just, it's everybody, you can date black women and marry them and all of a sudden you can't respect us. No, I'm getting a little tired of that. Getting a little tired of being used monetarily and you. That's any culture protects their culture. If black people say anything bad about any culture, we have to apologize right away, just like Nick Cannon did, right? So I think if you insult us, you should apologize to us. We are not animals. We are not some amusement fucking ride that you can get on when you want to. Well, this ride is derailing. That first decision. No hate. Just.
He did it deliberately. In Godfrey's eyes, Vlad wasn't chasing clicks. He was planted, strategically positioned to create chaos and division inside the black community. The way he twisted words, flipped narratives, and weaponized them, that wasn't coincidence. It was design. Godfrey didn't bite his tongue. He jumped straight on social media and dropped a video stamped with the caption, Vlad TV is canceled. We have to protect our culture from the vultures. In his words, what Vlad pulled was as reckless as making up lies about Rush Limbaugh. If I said Rush wanted all black people dead, and it wasn't true, I'd owe him an apology. He didn't say that. Period. And you can't just lie like that. It's dangerous. He didn't stop there. Godfrey doubled down, saying, I'd rather have the Nation of Islam on my side than any of this nonsense. Then he made his play, teaming up with Lord Jamar, my son the General, and Royce DA 5 feet 9 inches to officially boycott Vlad TV. The demand was loud and simple. Hold Vlad accountable for spreading false, disrespectful claims about Minister Farrakhan, or risk losing the culture's trust completely. And then came the bombshell nobody expected. Godfrey revealed that DJ Vlad is actually married to a black woman, yet still lines his pockets by exploiting black pain, black struggles, and black controversy. To a lot of people, that revelation sealed it even further. Vlad isn't documenting the culture, he's draining it dry. But this is where things got even uglier. At first, Lord Jamar was locked in with Godfrey, side by side, calling out Vlad for ducking an apology and swearing he'd never sit in that chair again. Both of them had been regular fixtures on Vlad TV for years, driving traffic and views to the platform, so their boycott landed like a heavy punch. Jamar agreed that if the culture really mattered, the only move was to cut Vlad off entirely. But when it came time to stand tall, the cracks started to show. Godfrey stayed firm, never backing down from his stance, while Jamar's loyalty seemed to bend once the pressure mounted. What started as a strong, united front quickly shifted into Godfrey standing alone on principle, while others slipped quietly into the shadows. And for fans watching, that betrayal stung even worse. Jamar slid right back onto Vlad's couch like nothing ever went down, lining up interviews and collabs as if the boycott never existed. To make it worse, he linked with Vlad to clown Godfrey, painting him as the one who wasn't solid. And of course, Vlad did what he always does, twisted the narrative. This time, he tried to flip it on Godfrey, claiming he disrespected his family. But fans weren't fooled. They saw Jamar breaking his word, sitting with Vlad, and calling Godfrey fake as a definition of nasty woke. And then it got grimier. Jamar ran to Vlad, a white man, for peace, but never once reached out to Godfrey, the brother who actually had his back. Vlad bragged about it himself, telling how he bumped into Godfrey, shook his hand, even texted him for a sit-down that Godfrey ignored. Then he smirked while Jamar nodded along, co-signing every word like scripture. The same Jamar who swore Godfrey would crawl back was the one right there warming Vlad's seat. Of course, Godfrey had to press him. He reminded Jamar of his own words, calling it exactly what it was, selling your soul. And if you look closer, the tension had been brewing for years. Even back when he was still appearing on Vlad TV, Godfrey told Vlad flat out that he didn't believe he liked black people. One moment stood out. Vlad claimed reparations would bankrupt America, and Godfrey clapped back, pointing out how the U.S. never hesitates to drop trillions on defense or cut checks for allies overseas. That's why 50 Cent's alleged offer to pay rappers just to stay away from Vlad makes perfect sense. It's not just a disrespect. It's those suspected ties to the feds. For years, artists thought they were just walking into harmless interviews, but Vlad's questions were so surgical it felt like he was pulling them straight from a case file. Old charges, sealed beefs, names never mentioned in the press. Stuff he had no business knowing unless he had a direct line to law enforcement. And meanwhile, Jamar sat there, dressed almost like Vlad, laughing along as fans watch in real time what selling out looks like. Vlad once tried to argue that reparations would bankrupt America. But Godfrey cut him down instantly, pointing out the obvious. This country has trillions for war, trillions to cage black men, trillions to poison food, water, and air. But when it's time to pay back the people who built it wealth, suddenly it's too expensive. Godfrey cut through all the excuses. You just don't like black people. That's it. That's all. And the receipts just kept piling. Vlad somehow knew Lil Baby fought a white dude in prison, something Baby never said publicly. That's why rappers started calling it a Fed tactic. Vlad slides in with, I think you said it. Not to clarify, but to gaslight you into confirming something you never admitted. Lil Woody even said it straight. His 100% convinced Vlad worked for the feds based on how he frames his questions. And it's not just rappers. Remember when Vlad tried baiting Mike Tyson into naming his street connects? Or when he went after Professor Morgan Jerkins, a black woman teaching at Princeton? She shut him down with the obvious, this is a black conversation. But Vlad couldn't let it go. Instead of letting it go, Vlad tagged Princeton's official account and wrote, "So professor at Princeton thinks white people shouldn't be allowed to speak on hip-hop?" That wasn't debate. That was him trying to jeopardize her job. Classic Vlad. The same play every time. Turn critique into punishment, flip the story, and act like the victim. Artists with real street ties say Vlad's questions hit different, like the way cops press you in interrogation. One rapper even tested him by lying in an answer, and the look on Vlad's face gave it away. He said Vlad reacted like a detective catching a false lead. From that moment, he knew this wasn't journalism. Vlad was moving like police. But even that wasn't the end. Instead of clearing things up, Vlad doubled down. He started framing rappers' friends as criminals, twisting loyalty into suspicion, and acting shocked when called out. And when Professor Jerkins offended herself, Vlad didn't stop. He threatened to reach out to Princeton directly, basically snitching, clipboard in hand. Vlad even tried to mess with someone's livelihood over a tweet. And here's the wild hypocrisy. Right after that, he turned around and shaded Nicki Minaj for beefing with Rock Nation. He jumped under her post on X and called her Snitchy Minaj. The replies cooked him instantly. One fan clapped back. You literally bring rappers on your platform because you're an informant. That wasn't trolling. That was truth. Because Vlad's pattern didn't just pop up yesterday. For years, fans notice his interviews line up too perfectly with law enforcement playbooks. Artists come thinking it promo, and boom, their words show up in a police report. Even Boosie said it straight. Vlad asks like a detective, not a journalist. And peep the trend. It's always black artists with street ties, never the mainstream white stars with skeletons of their own. That's not random. That's targeted. So here's the bigger question. Why do insiders still deal with him? Some say Vlad got powerful backers and media ties that can make or break careers. Others think the artists who keep showing up are already cooperating. So it doesn't matter what they say. Either way, 50 Cent warning doesn't sound paranoid anymore. It sounds like survival. Because Vlad's not just asking random questions. He comes with names, dates, and details you can't even Google. If it's not pulling that from open sources, then where's it coming from? That's why 50 is willing to put millions on the line to keep his circle away. To him, every Vlad interview is a loaded weapon. The second you sit on that couch, you're in the crosshays. Vlad doesn't just twist words. He pits people against each other, threatens jobs, and digs into street politics he has no business touching. And the craziest part? Big names still walking, thinking they'll dodge the trap, when in reality Vlad always walks away with something he can flip. That's why 50's stance is deadly serious. He doesn't see Vlad as an interviewer. He sees him as an industry plant wired straight into the powers that be. And when you count how many careers, reputations, and even lives unraveled right after those friendly interviews, it's harder and harder to call it coincidence. Especially when people still remember Vlad running to the feds after Rick Ross allegedly sent someone his way. And now, insiders whisper that Vlad's lining up his next big play, targeting 50 Cent himself. The word is his plotting to bait 50 into legal smoke or beef just to knock him down. Because Vlad isn't just running a YouTube channel. He's a mouthpiece for shadow players pulling strings in the industry. The ones using him to control, to silence, to steer hip-hop wherever they want. So next time you see somebody walk into that bright white studio with a black leather couch, ask yourself, is this really just an interview or the start of a setup? Because if Vlad thinks he can pull that same trick on 50 Cent and walk away untouched, he's about to learn the hard way. A storm is brewing, and this time it's locked on him.